Tynee Talks. We're gonna talk about it right here. Yeah. You ready? It's Tynee Talks right here. We gon' talk about it right here. We gon' talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real clear. It's Tynee Talks right here. We gon' talk about it right here. I'ma talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real clear, cause it's Tynee Talks. And I'ma talk about it. Yeah, cause it's Tynee Talks. And I'ma talk about it. Hey, hey. Put this on when you're in the shower. When you ride around in your car. You gonna turn up with it.
I'm telling you, it's a vibe.
And welcome to the Tynee Talks podcast, the podcast that educates and entertains, the podcast where you come to laugh and learn. I am your host, Tynee, okay? Hey. And I'm so excited to be here today. You see my beautiful guest on the side. We're going to get to that. But before we get into anything, we got to get into the show sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by 810 Tacos. 810 Tacos is made for tacos, but delicious on everything. So spice up your Taco Tuesday night with 810 Tacos. You can receive free shipping on orders over $20 if you use the code Tynee Talks podcast. You can follow 810 Tacos at 810 Tacos on Instagram and or www.810tacos.com and tell them Tynee sent you, because if you know anything about tacos, you ain't had a taco till you had a Flint taco, and that's word to my mama and your mama. Okay, so today's show is entitled The Root Cause, baby, and we gonna get to the root, baby. We're gonna get to the bottom of things. And I have author Angelica Roberts with me. Say hey, Angelica.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It is my absolute pleasure. It's been a long time coming. We're going to get into it, but let me tell y'all a little bit about Angelica. I'm going to read from my little paper here, but it don't do her justice, okay? Angelica is a native of Maryland. You say Maryland?
The accent went away.
Your accent went away? Maryland. I used to call it Maryland. I'm a Michigander, and it was
Maryland?
Maryland.
No.
I thought it was Maryland.
No.
And then I knew it was Maryland. And then when I was around my Baltimoreans, they were like Maryland.
Mm-hmm. Or Baltimore, Murderland.
What? That's a whole new language. Y'all know Maryland.
Let's talk about the positives of the city.
So she is a native of Maryland, now residing in Texas.
Yes.
She is a graduate of
The?
Is it the?
It's the
Florida A&M University. FAMU Rattler.
Yes.
Strike
again.
And y'all know I had
And you are repping. And I am so proud to be here with you, even just off the strength of this. Like down to the socks. Y'all don't see the socks. The socks is orange. Come on now. Show the people. They need to see.
Okay.
And I love it. I'm like, if I had known, I would have came up here head to toe. FAMU.
But you look runway ready. You look like you're about to. This is a media press kit, okay? You got it going on. She looks good, guys. She looks like a rich auntie. And you know I love a rich auntie. So I wore my FAMU gear to honor Miss Angelica because I am an honorary rattler because my husband is a rattler. So therefore I am.
There you go. You know?
She's a graduate of FAMU. She studied journalism there. My girl is smart. She writes. She gets to the source. Just like in this book, she's going to get to the root cause.
Exactly.
Okay, you see how I put that together?
I love how you did that. I like the plug.
You see the plug? She's going to get to the root cause, and that's what a journalist do. Okay? Under the guidance of the late Dean James Hawkins is where she studied journalism. She's an avid reader since childhood. I love to read too. What was your favorite childhood book? Or series?
Roll It Thunder, Hear My Cry.
Oh my God.
I loved, my grandma is an educator, and she had me in all the African-American lit books early on. And Mildred Taylor, love her, the whole series.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I still love it to this day.
I love that book. I read it in the 6th grade. And Miss Nagy, shout out to my 6th grade language arts teacher, Miss Nagy. She had us reading Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. And, baby, we was ready to protest and march and be free, baby, in the 6th grade. Right. So that was a really good, that is a good book to be introduced to as a young adult. So I love that.
That was definitely my favorite.
That's definitely your favorite. Yeah, shout out to Midra D. Taylor.
Yes.
You are living on, and we're going to keep your name alive.
Banned, and her books are banned right now. Right. That part. DEI,
that's a whole nother podcast. Because Hot Wheels and the Satan is out here doing
too much.
The most. Okay.
The absolute.
They've been listening too much Cardi. Cardi said, I do the most because y'all don't do enough. Ooh. I said, okay. All right. So she decided to embark on her literary journey in 2017 with her inaugural book, Vendetta. And that's how I was introduced to Miss Angelica. Actually, we have a little semi-connection. Her father, Quentin Roberts.
D. Roberts.
The Quentin Roberts. Member of Omega Psi Phi and Omega Man, not a cute dog. Ski-wee. Okay. All right. Okay. She came here with a little red phone to show me that she was a member of Delta.
That's because you had pink and green bracelets. Like, come on.
Because I had to let him know. Okay. So her father was my mentor back in Michigan when I worked at, we won't say names, I worked at a college. And he worked there as well. And he gifted me this book of Vendetta, and I fell in love with her writing and how she, takes a story, gives you a background, plots, twists and turns. You don't know what's going to happen next. And as me being an avid reader myself, I like that. I like to be sucked into something where I can't, put it down. So make sure before y'all get to the root cause, make sure y'all read Vendetta. And lastly, Angelica strongly believes in the power of books and has partnered with nonprofit organizations such as Reading Partners through her sorority. What's your sorority?
Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Say it one more. Is you gonna do that long?
No, I stopped it. Because I know, we have time limit. I could have kept going, but we're going to do that.
I felt like it was
We'll do that at another time.
Because y'all like to take it down the street around the corner.
That's y'all.
That's us?
That's y'all.
Probably.
And then you had the higher pitch. So
give you a little soprano. I do like y'all take it to a little alto. Yeah. You do got to take it up to soprano with the
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Okay.
You just wanted to have the last word. We gonna do this.
Why she go cut up on my show?
On your show, right?
Oh, right on my show. It's okay, Angelica. I'm gonna let you do what you do because it's all about you. So she is a member of the Dallas area writers group and worked as a media strategist, and that is Angelica Roberts. Welcome, Angelica.
Thank you for having me. I told you before, I'm really excited to be here. I've been waiting to come.
Yes.
I've looked at some of your other interviews, Omar Tyree.
Yes.
There was one girl, it was the black, is it author? You interviewed her maybe a few weeks ago. Can't think of her name, but I love that interview.
A few weeks ago, an author, what was the book about?
A girl,
I interviewed so many authors.
Black girl, not an awkward black girl,
Token Black Girl with Danielle Prescott. Yes. Shout out to Danielle.
With the D, right?
With a D, Prescott.
I really enjoyed that one. So thank you for your platform. It's really entertaining and funny. And you're so lively and bubbly. It's good to listen to.
Thank you so much. Speaking of Token Black Girl, have you ever felt like a Token Black Girl? In situations?
Sometimes, not often. I'm a military brat, so a lot of the bases I lived on and schools I went to were very diverse.
Gotcha.
And then going to black schools for high school and then college. It's been times like at work for sure. But not often.
Not often. Okay. So tell us, before we get into the root cause, and I'm going to let you guys know about the root cause, her latest book. Yes. Has it dropped already?
It has dropped. Shout out to the root cause. It dropped on the 16th of this month.
Yes.
Thank you. It's a spinoff of my first book, Vendetta. And it's a political fiction type of feel, crime, mystery, commercial fiction too. Yeah.
Let me see that.
Yes.
John, go ahead and zoom in on this. The root cause.
Yes.
Make sure y'all get Vendetta first. You won't be disappointed.
Yes. And shout out to Helen Ackles for the design. The design of the book cover. She spent a lot of time on this and really took all the key features of the book and added it to the cover. So shout out to Helen Ackles.
Who is this model? Because he fine.
Stock photo. And he is fine.
Oh, this is...
that is not a real man.
Okay, come on, AI. Because the lineup is crispy.
Girl, it's real crispy. I know she sent me a couple of like potential men, and I saw him. I said, that's the one. I want that.
It really stands out. It kind of takes me back. I don't know if this. It looks, he has like an olden look, but also modern. Right. Like he could, kind of like the Jonathan Majors. They call him like, they say he got a civil rights look.
He does.
But this could be like civil rights-y or like modern, but the jawline, the whole thing, y'all. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but I'm one of those people, if the cover stands out to me, I'm definitely going to pick it up. And this one has a beautiful cover to it. And I know the lines between it. Angelica brought me a copy. Yes. So I can't wait to dig deep in it and let my talkers know how I felt about it on, Instagram and so on and so forth.
I can't wait for your review.
You can't wait?
I can't wait, girl.
Okay, so tell us something about, before we get into it, I like to know more about my guests. Tell us something about you that we don't know. What are your likes? What are your dislikes?
Oh, so... the older you get, things change. I used to be outside a lot. Now I'm inside a lot with my dog, you know, traveling, getting back to normal after like the world shut down for a couple of years. For sure. So it's been really good. I just came back from Baltimore for my book launch party. And for like a week, just being around friends and family and just feeling that love. So the older me before, I was always just with friends, and now I appreciate those moments with family. My younger sister just graduated from high school, so I went up to Flint.
Congratulations, little sister.
And then I went to Ohio for their graduation, and that was nice to see family there too. So that's pretty much what I do. I mean, writing, of course, working on scripts. One of my line sisters is an actress, so we've been working on a project together. A lot of work and home and chill. And even though I said I'm not outside anymore, it's been a while. So I have been going outside a little bit more, and that's been a lot of fun. So,
are you having a warm girl summer?
I'm having a very warm girl summer. Last summer, I'm a recovered alcoholic. That's something. Maybe
congratulations on your sobriety.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I love that.
So last summer, I was just focused on my sobriety and being in the program and my relationship with God, and getting back on track. So finishing the root cause and finishing graduate school. So last summer, it was all about the grind. Gotcha. And so this summer, it's like things are coming into fruition, and I'm able to go out and celebrate and have fun and be in the moment and be present. So that's where I'm at right now.
I love that. Congratulations on your sobriety. Does writing assist with your sobriety?
At first, it was difficult. So, you have those talents when you're coming up, right? I love to read. I love to write. I was good with both. And then you get to college for me, and I was having a good time, but it got to a point where I felt like I was a better writer if I was tipsy. I was a better writer if I could get out of my head, because I am an overthinking warrior sometimes. And so it got to a point where I was like, I can't finish this book unless I have a drink. And so me getting sober, it was like, okay, now I got to get back to who I am and what I love and my natural given talents and not depend on anything but God and my creativity to do it. And so it wasn't a challenge. It was beautiful. Like, I let God just walk me through it. And I'm so proud of like what I was able to write.
I'm so proud.
Sure.
I'm proud of your honesty. A lot of people, I've known people that feel like they can't be creative or do their next move without hitting a blunt or, smoking weed. And, they don't see it as a problem at all. And congratulations to you for recognizing that it was crippling you instead of propelling you forward. And so that's just beautiful. And you to be so young. A lot of people don't know that young people go through those struggles of addiction. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And sometimes we shame people. We look down on them like, how could you? Or, being a Christian or a believer, people are like, well, you're supposed to believe in God. How can you? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But it's like, to be a believer doesn't mean I'll be without sin. It's hopefully that I can sin less. And so, you know, you recognize that, and God loves that, and God sees your heart. And
God, I can say that a million times. You know, I thought I had a relationship with him until I realized I was depending on a substance, or I was depending on outside sources to get me through the day or make me happy. And then when I realized, like, you don't know him quite like you thought you did. Like, if you did, you'd put your trust in him. You would go to him with all of your, you know, your fears and everything. And so ever since I did that, like, he's just been moving mountains. Yeah. Making, like, miracles. Things that, like, if I were to share right now, you'd be like, what?
Making a way out of no way.
Absolutely no way. There's something I'm like, I don't know. I ain't asking no questions. Like, I'm going to take this. Right. So it's been a beautiful journey. And I love, like, my recovery community. That's a whole new group, you know, and I'm grateful for them, too.
I love that. Shout out to her recovery community. Yes. Keep supporting her. And anybody out there dealing with addiction to whatever. It could be sexual addiction, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is. Know that there is hope on the other side. Have you heard Killer Mike's new album?
No,
I want you to check that out. I like Killer Mike. You know, I've always kind of seen him on the peripheral, but me getting into his new album, he has a song called, and I'm not calling you this, but he has a song called This Is for the Junkies. Okay. And he just talks about, like, his auntie and how she dealt with substance abuse, but she was still a person, and she still had good advice for him and all. And he made the song for them, letting them know there's, you know, life on the other side, and you're still human. And there's a part on the song where I think it's his aunt speaking, and she said, "Thank you for always seeing me as human," because sometimes we can dismiss people who are struggling.
That is so true.
You know what I mean?
And the thing about it, like, with addiction, is it affects families. And so ever since, like, I've been more open with speaking about it, I've had people message me, contact me, letting me know maybe they're struggling or a family member is struggling. And so the more I've talked about it, the more I haven't felt alone, like, knowing that this isn't, you know, just me. And then being able to get out in that community and help people, whatever way that is, sending a website or talking to them or whatever the case may be. And even Killer Mike's that song or the album title, you know, we laugh. You know, girl, I'm an alcoholic. I'm a drink. You know, girl, you a junk. You know, and I kind of like that you're taking away that pressure and making it. Yeah, it's very serious, but you're softening it in a way.
Taking away the stigma.
Yeah, the stigma, for sure. When people say, you don't look like an alcoholic, I'm like...
What does it look like?
What does that look like? Because, you know, I've been blessed to meet so many people in recovery who are super successful, really beautiful people that you would never, I guess, know because of that stereotype. And so it can happen to anybody. I'm blessed that I have my support system and my group. So, yeah.
Thank you. That was something very vulnerable, but that you shared. And know that when this airs, that people are going to receive that, and you're going to give them hope. So thank you for sharing that tidbit. So now we're going to get into the root cause. Let me tell you a little bit about the roots. So it is about Devin Simmons. I love the name because Devin seemed like somebody you like, ooh, girl, Devin fine. Did you see him?
I mean,
I always like the name Devin. Like, you got to be kind of cute to have the name Devin.
You do have to have that. Yeah, you got to be a little cute.
I've never seen an ugly Devin.
I haven't either.
In my life.
And I think, you know, when you write sometimes, you don't realize you're thinking about somebody. There's somebody from way back when named Devin.
That you was thinking about?
From school grade. Now that I think about it, I think that's why I was so fixated on the name.
That probably was what it is. Because let me tell you, those childhood crushes, they last a long time. You just be like, one day.
Devin
write your name next to him. Like,
he was a little cutie. I was like 12 years old.
Yeah, that's when you really, your heart starts to explode.
Yeah.
So Devin Simmons, this is the character in the book, The Root Cause.
Yes, is the main character.
The main character is the son of a disgraced businessman, Thaddeus Simmons. Sound like they got money. And he brings a decades-old case to light when he announces his bid for the seat in the United States Senate. So this gets real political, y'all. Yeah. And you used to live in D.C. for a little minute.
I did. I lived on the outskirts. I lived in Virginia and worked in D.C.
Okay.
The whole DMV.
The whole DMV.
Maryland, Virginia, yeah.
Did you use the slug?
I did.
You ain't know I knew about slugging. What slugging, right?
Girl, nobody knows about that.
I know about slugging. So I learned about slugging with my son's father. His sister used to work for the government, and she lives in the DMV area. And so when we went to go visit her, she told us about slugging. And so I'm like taken aback, like, wow, you slug? And she's like, yeah, you just wake up at like 5 or 4 in the morning, and you're getting in the car with people. Now, you know, I'm from Flint, which is kind of dangerous. And and so I'm like, you getting in cars with people you don't know? And she's like, well, everybody, if you want to work for the government, you have to have a security clearance. So nobody's going to jeopardize their livelihood, you know? So when she said that, I was like, okay, I mean, I guess. And she said, people don't talk to each other.
They don't. Like, there's a website. I don't know if it's still around. I haven't lived there in like 9 years, but there was like a slug line. So there's protocols. When you get in a car, don't talk. Don't talk. Unless the driver wants to talk, initiates the talk. Don't talk about it, and when you do, don't talk about anything political. I mean, come on.
Come on.
Don't, you know.
I got it.
And so for me, I was in Northern Virginia. I was in Woodbridge, which was a good, you know, maybe hour and a half of traffic. And so, yeah, I'd get up early in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning.
Can't do it.
And I'd jump in a car.
And just slug it
to
work.
They drop me off at the nearest, like, metro station, and then I'd take, you know, the train to my final stop.
That is crazy. Slugging, y'all.
Slugging. Look it up. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Maybe you can bring it to your city. I don't know.
Maybe not. No.
Depending on your
don't bring it around here.
Let me stop. Okay, I don't want anything put back on me. Angelica said.
Like, yeah, we should slug, right? Do not slug.
Oh.
And you know, it's kind of like Uber before Uber, like, blew up. Like, I learned about slugging, and I was like, you know, these drivers be trying to talk to you. You just never know. But, yeah, slugging. So, because he's running for this Senate seat, did you get some of your inspiration from being in the D.C. area, and it's like blatant with politics and salaciousness?
Yeah. And also when I was at FAMU, I was SGA class vice president, and then I was a senator. And so I was into politics. At one point, I was thinking about going into political journalism, but I never
you would have been good at that.
Thanks. But I never decided to go down that route. But I always liked the stories. Like, I go to TMZ, and I go to, you know, the gossip sites or whatever. And I saw that these politicians and people in entertainment, they show you what, you know, just social media. We show what we want to show. We don't show the vulnerable moments, the behind the scenes, especially if you're in politics, you're cookie cutter. You know, I'm a man. I have to be married. I have to have kids.
Even if it's a cover.
Right. Hello. and that's Devin in a nutshell. So
there's a famous FAMU alum that we won't get into that, but you know who I'm talking about.
That definitely was not inspiration, and I love him. For the record, I love him.
It wasn't about him, but
it was not.
I know who I'm talking about. So,
oh Lord, no.
I'm not trying to be shady. Let's just move on. But yeah, so he's running for Senate, and I always think about the show House of Cards. Like when I think of DC,
House of Cards.
I think like it's House of Cards every day. Was it kind of? Did it give that feel?
It did.
Is this giving that feel?
A little bit. Okay. So and then House of Cards, they used to film sometimes outside. I used to work for a company that was like right by the White House, and sometimes they'd film in our area. And I remember when they would film, everybody was like, "Oh, they're filming today!" You know, so excited. But the actual show, it does kind of resemble that. It's about like the scandals and the blackmail and the corruption and all of this, and people who you think are your friends who are really the enemy. And it gives very much politics, and also you hear about like LA and you know, you're meeting people and they have agendas, and so there's a lot of that in this book.
That is very LA. No shade to the LA, but you know, I have a lot of friends that live out there, and they say people are always angling up. Yeah. Who are you? What do you do? And how does what you do benefit me?
That's the same in the DMV when I was out there. And after I graduated, the first thing you meet somebody at a bar or you meet somebody at a restaurant, the first thing that they say is, they say, "What do you do?" They don't ask your name. They don't ask anything. And that's why when I moved to Houston, I was in Houston before Dallas. I call myself hustling. I remember I went to this club, and before I went to their website, and I had it in my mind. I was like, I'm going to talk to, if I meet somebody, I'm going to let them know that website needs to be updated. And I was introduced to, I guess, one of the owners. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, yeah, I saw that your website. He was like, what's your name again? After
because you was like, on that DC
on
stuff.
Go. Yeah. I'm like, let's connect. And he's like, who? And I love when I got to Texas, it was more of a family feel, like get to know me, date me for us, date me a little bit,
butter me up, right. Don't just go in.
And I had to get out of that. Also, when I went to the gym, me and my friend, we were in Houston, we were working out like it was the last day on earth. And the guy, he looked at us, he was like, y'all know the gym's 24 hours, right? Every day. He was like, you can come back tomorrow. And I'm like, and that stuck with me because it's like, slow down, enjoy life, and be genuine and authentic with everything that you do. So I love Texas for that.
I love that. You hit the nail on the head, like the trying to come up. It's more so like, what's the word I'm looking for? Transactional. Mm-hmm. Those DC type LA vibes is transactional, but it's like,
they can be for sure.
What's your name? Right. How are you doing today? Right. Instead of just jumping right on in. All right, so Devin is running for a Senate seat, which is very political because you got to kiss babies, shake hands, make promises.
Do. Exactly.
That
keep them.
Or not.
We hope. We hope.
Or not. All right, so he's fighting to make a name for himself aside from his father's fallen legacy. So Thaddeus did some stuff.
But Thaddeus, he was a hot boy. He did some
Tell
things.
us a little bit more about Thaddeus.
So Thaddeus is Devin's father, and he was this big businessman. He actually went to the Naval Academy. He graduated, served in the military, and then decided to open up this multi-million-dollar business in the DMV. And he got a little money hungry, a little power hungry, and got caught up in some stuff. Good guy that made bad decisions and got caught up in some stuff that later obviously is going to affect his family. And so years later, Devin is running for U.S. Senate, and people know him because of his father's fallen legacy, his father's past. And so I have a book trailer out, and it kind of shows how, like, his dad went to jail and his dad committed suicide and how that had an effect on the family. So, yeah. That's Devin.
I love that. Even though this is a work of fiction, how important is it for you as you're establishing your legacy not to ruin maybe your children based on your own reputation? I remember growing up, my mom used to always say in her prayers, and I just remember it so vividly, she used to always say, Lord, don't let my children suffer for any of my sins. Don't let my children suffer for any of the wrong decisions that I've made. And this kind of brings me to that with Devin and Thaddeus, because the sins of the father are affecting the son.
Exactly.
How important, I want to say how important is it to like keep a clean slate, but it's kind of hard. So how do you recover from a broken legacy?
So in the root cause, at least, Devin had gone to therapy. Like therapy, his mom, because of my own story, she's a recovering alcoholic.
The mother is.
Yeah, the mother.
Is Thaddeus and Devin's mom still married in the story, or did they get a divorce?
They were still married.
They're still married.
They were still married.
Through the controversy.
He committed suicide during that controversy. Yeah.
I can't wait to read this, y'all.
Yeah, go ahead and read. I'm not going to tell too much.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in the book trailer. That's the only reason why I can say it.
I don't tell suicide. Okay.
So, and you know, that affects the family. So his suicide affected the mom, and it affected the kids. And so Devin, you know, as he's running and dealing with the allegations against his late father and trying to make his own name and step out as a black man running to become the first black U.S. Senator of Maryland. There's been two other ones. It's been Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, I think 11 total black U.S. Senators. And
in the history of the U.S.?
In the history.
Only 11?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
In my mind, I thought that That was a
no.
Okay, I thought it was an easier seat to get.
Girl, no.
So so you're saying in politics, it's easier to become like a representative rather than a senator.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And so when they come from money, so I'm not going to tell all the rest.
Yeah, I don't want to tell. We want y'all to buy the book. Okay.
Yes, please buy the book. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all major platforms.
Yes.
But it just talks about his struggles. So talking about sexuality, the addiction, talking about family drama, white collar crimes, so many different themes that I was able to pull from like my personal story or from the news, because I'm a commercial fiction writer, which talks about current events a lot of times and puts it in a fictional setting. And so I've been able to just dig a little deeper, and I don't know, I went so many different ways with this. It was fun to write.
It sounds like it. So Thaddeus then committed suicide. Devin's trying to run for a Senate seat. And when you're running for office, you could probably relate to this doing it in college, right? People gonna dig. They
are going to dig.
Did they do that to you at FAM? Like trying to say, okay.
So this was when social media was fun, but we weren't counting likes, and we didn't care who followed us.
So like 04, 05-ish?
07. I ran in like 08 actually, 08, 09.
Okay, so it wasn't like it is today.
Right. It wasn't, it wasn't as big of a deal. But now, social media today, they are going to look at every nick and cranny. They want to know your finances. They want to know what donors are you supporting. They support gun laws, or, guns. They support opioids,
gay marriage, anything. So is Devin experiencing that, like
media training? And so he was SGA president in his college.
Okay.
And so for those of you again, Vendetta was the first book, and The Root Cause is a spinoff. And so Devin was mentioned in Vendetta for like one small scene on one page.
I gotta go back.
Yeah, on one page.
I gotta go back.
And I don't mind sharing. So in that page, he was with Maya, and he had been with another man.
I don't remember that. Is this because I remember Vendetta was set in the backdrop of DC.
Yeah.
Is this?
And this is Maryland.
Okay, so still in the DMV area.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember that, but I'm gonna have to go back and look. I gotta go back.
Look, when you read it, you're gonna be like, oh.
So you wanted to bring his character up to light. I love that. Yeah. Okay, so he's fighting to make a name for himself aside from his father's fallen legacy. Alongside his family, turns to the FBI, a veteran journalist and a former witness, to right the wrongs of the past.
And I love that ending. I'm going to feel myself a little bit because I think it adds a little bit of mystery.
It does.
Yeah. Ooh. So the title is The Root Cause. It's like, okay, so what is the reason behind, what is the foundation? Why did all of this happen? And so when you look at everything that has just spun out, like what happened to Thaddeus, what happened to Devin throughout the book, there might be one person behind all of this. And all I'm going to say is in the front cover, you see on the cover, it says Impact Magazine, and there's a man on the side. So just look out for him in the book.
Look out for this man in front of Impact Magazine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Impact Magazine right there on the right side of Devin's face.
The thing about like running for like senator or things like that, you got to make allies with people.
Oh, you do.
So the fact that Devin is working with the FBI, a journalist, and a witness, because a lot of times, like when you watch House of Cards, they gotta remember he got with the one girl who ended up getting hit by the subway, but he was using her so that she could write certain things about him, right? So I wonder, is the Impact Magazine kind of turning up the story on somebody to make someone else look better or make somebody look bad?
Maybe. I guess
perhaps. Possibly.
Or it's that somebody has done just such a good job of hiding their foul play that they still get accolades and they still get acknowledged, but really they're the ones making all the craziness happen.
Money will do it.
And that's another thing. Money, power,
and respect.
Family, money, power, respect
is the key to life.
But power, DMV power, who you know and all of that can make or break you. Yeah, that's what this entails.
I cannot wait. This kind of gives me the vibes of a black version of Succession. Do you watch Succession?
I do watch Succession.
The Roys. If y'all not into Logan Roy and Kendall Roy and Shiv Roy. Shiv, okay.
So I'm not gonna lie. So wait a minute. Me and my sister Amber, we were binge watching, and so we've been saying yeah. Or when everything that we say is yeah.
Or they gonna say aha. They do that. It has like an underlying meaning to like aha. And I love that they never show their card. Yeah. And sometimes that's me. Like it's on my face, it's in everything. So I'm trying to learn how to and you don't know what I'm thinking. I'm just taking it all in because it's chess, not checkers.
It is.
And I think that's what Devin's going to get into. Like, which one do I play to get the best results?
Yeah, and there's a scene with the chessboard.
What?
Yeah, talking about chess, not checkers.
So when you're writing, because you are the type of author that I love, I like an author to bring me in deep and make it so real that I think that I know these characters, that I'm into it. And like, even how you talk about Devin and Thaddeus, it's kind of like, we know it's fiction, but it makes you feel like this family that you knew and you were like, let me write a memoir about y'all, you know? And I like that.
And so I say this too, shout out to my family and friends, because sometimes I'll call them and I'll just start talking about a character and I'm thinking this is a real life person. Like how we were talking about how fine he is. And this is AI. Like I be thinking about these characters. I'm like, Thaddeus, yo, you trifling for doing your family like that. You know, like I really get into it. And being able to do that character development, being able to sit there and say, okay, what's their age? Where are they from? What are their quirks? What makes them happy, sad? And then to really get into them and write like they're real. Yeah. It's so much fun. As a kid, I would like fall in love with those books, with fiction. Fiction over everything.
Over everything, yes.
Because I wanted to escape sometimes. Yeah. And these characters, the way that these writers and authors would write these characters in a way that I'm laughing like I know them. I'm like in their head, I can hear their voices and everything. I thought that was just so magical and cool, and I wanted to do it. And so being able to do this and make them seem kind of lifelike, it's great.
Will this also be turned into an audiobook?
I'm thinking about doing that next year. First, it would be Vendetta.
Okay.
I've been really thinking about television film. So
I can see this. This gives me like when you said that you did a book trailer, y'all. A book trailer, y'all. I remember just my book trailer is reading the back of the book like, what's this going to be about? But a book trailer, y'all. Make sure we're going to get her social media handles later on.
Check out the book trailer.
But make sure y'all check out the book trailer. But I could really see this like, you know, on the marquee or for a commercial to go see the root cause. And the name, when you think about, like you said, getting to the root of something, it could be getting to the root of your family history, getting to the root of why your man cheated on you, getting to the root of your childhood trauma. Why are my current behaviors, why am I doing this thing right here? And you always want to get to the root cause. And I'm glad our generation is trying to get to the root of our traumas through through therapy. And in my household, therapy wasn't shunned. My mother had bipolar disorder, so she always went to therapy. It wasn't stigma in my home, but on the outside, it wasn't something that I wanted people to know and didn't talk about. So in my mother's death, I have, gone to therapy and got to the root cause of other things. That's the thing about therapy. You go for one thing.
And then you end up right because you get into the root cause.
You get to the root cause, all kind of other stuff. Yeah. You're like, well, dang, I didn't even know. So, I love that. So, writing, and you said getting into these characters. Do you observe people a lot?
I do. I'm very observant. Like when I first meet, usually if it's a group, I observe. I'm like, I want to know the lay of the land. I need to know the personalities. I'm a natural introvert and observer. I warm up to people usually. And so sometimes even like I'll go when I'm walking my dog in the morning and I see something different, like this random guy who is doing something random on the street. Yeah. Sometimes I always have my phone on me listening to music or something while we're walking. I'll take out my note section and I'll jot down maybe what he's wearing, what he's doing, so that when I sit down to write, if I don't know where to start for the day, I can go in my note section and get inspiration from any of those that happen. And so going back to even the name Devin, and now that I think about it, it probably be associated with my crush from middle school.
Mm-hmm. It is. Devin, she still think you cute.
Oh, no.
If you're married, we're sorry. She just wants you to know that you were inspiration. Thank you for being you.
Thank you, Devin. I appreciate you. But so sometimes things like that end up in the book without me even realizing subconsciously. So yeah, it's cool.
I love that. I love iPhones too, in the sense like that's like if I'll get like a rush of ideas for my podcast, I'm like, go to the notes. Okay, like it's gonna be this title. This is if you were to make this into first Vendetta and then this into an audio book, who would you want to do the voice?
Ooh, so
who would be Maya's voice?
Maya would be. I have to shout out Anisha Hughes.
And who is she?
She's my line sister.
Hey, Anisha.
Hey, Nene. She's an actress. She's in LA now. That's who I'm working on my script with. And she was the first person to ever read Vendetta, the first person to ever read The Root Cause. She's one of my test readers. And I say Nene because she's so feminine. She has a very distinct voice, though. It's a little raspy.
I love a raspy voice.
Yeah, me too.
I like a raspy voice singer, too.
Yeah.
Like Coco Jones. She gives me the
raspy,
love
Coco Jones.
Sultry, suck me
and that's
in.
Anisha. And that's Anisha. And so I think that she would play, and we've talked about it before. That's why immediately I'm like, Anisha. I would love to have her play Maya.
Sure. Who would play Devin? Who would voice him?
Who would play Devin?
Would he have to have a deep voice?
He would have to. I love Michael B. Jordan.
I could see. He looks like this guy. I can't think of his name. What movie did I watch? It was a movie with this dark-skinned dude. It's gonna come to me, but this AI looks like this guy that I'm talking about in this movie. When I think I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna text you.
You have to let me know.
So a Michael B. Jordan-esque voice for this guy, for Devin.
Yeah. I would say him.
What about Aldous Hodge? This gives me Aldous Hodge.
Who's that?
Did you watch what was that movie called? Underground, that TV show called Underground?
I did. Okay. With Janae Smollett.
Yes. And Aldous Hodge was the man. He was the one who... The guy. Like her love interest.
Oh. I'm trying to think of his voice, though.
It's like, it's not deep. It's not high pitch. It's just, I don't know, regular. Like regular black dude. But still polished enough. It's not like slangish, but polished.
I would like that. You know what's interesting, right? Devin is the main character. I had to catch myself because his brother Julian, I was starting to write a lot about Julian. And I had to catch him. I'm like, that's not the main character. You got to like go back. And so I think I could have a lot of fun with Julian's character in the audio.
What would you tell an up-and-coming author, a young girl? Let's imagine what you started. What age did you start writing?
Oh, my first published piece was a poem. I was maybe 11, 12.
11. So that adolescence, tween years. There's a girl out there, a tween, loves writing, loves reading, which is rare these days. And she's like, what would be some tips that you give to that young girl and to give her how to develop her characters? What's some advice you would give to that girl?
So some tips that I would give to her would be, one, do it because you love it. Everything that you do, I keep using this word, but authenticity, genuineness, do it because that's what you want to do, not because what's hot, what's in right now, you know. We all have different perspectives. We're all individuals, and that's what makes your work stand out. So be true to who you are, what you love to write about. That it would also be to keep learning. I am learning every single day. Before I came, I was looking at like Amazon ads, looking at how to get the most exposure for my books, because gone are the days of the book tour. And book tours are still very present, mostly virtually. A lot of them are, but it costs money to travel and to get the books ahead and then to sell them. So you have to really have that digital footprint to sell. So I always learn. In addition to, I went to school for journalism. I've always been great in English and lit and all of that, word comprehension and all that. But things change. You know, I used to write for newspaper magazines. Book writing is different. And so writing workshops and free stuff on YouTube or LinkedIn, you know, so stay true to who you are, always continue to learn and, you know, just get better and better at your craft, and then think big. Do not limit yourself. Do not say, and my dad used to tell me when I was a kid, he was like, you should write your own book one day. And I'm like, book? Now, that's huge. I can't do a book.
You can.
And then I did, you know? And so our mind it can be such a weapon against us or for us, as we have to command it. And so it would be dream big. Do not stifle. Do not limit yourself. You know, if you say that you're going to write scripts for film or television one day or whatever it is, do it. But faith without work is, you know, works is dead. So you got to put the work in, you know, you got to put the work in.
Faith without works is dead.
It's dead. You got to put the work in.
Angelica gonna make me throw my phone because faith, listen clearly. Faith without works is dead. Yeah. You can't say I want to lose weight and then we don't exercise. We don't go take 10-minute walks, then 15-minute walks, then 30-minute walks. We can't say, Lord, I just give me another job. Give me and you're not out there applying yourself. Faith without works is dead. So to that 11, 12-year-old, even that 40-year-old that's been sitting on that book idea, even me tonight that's sitting on that book idea.
Girl, we're going to talk about this.
Girl, go do it. I love that. Authenticity. Do it because you're passionate about it. Don't do it because it's hot. I do podcast consultations, and I always ask people that come to me, why are you doing this? Are you doing it because it is hot? Because that's all the clips we see are salacious clips of podcasts talking about what men and women relationship. What is your why? And lean into your why. And if your why is true and not because it's popular, whatever it is going to take off. Even if it takes off with 100 people. If you got that 100 core audience, you're good. Even if it's 20, you know what I mean? I remember the first day I got on YouTube and I had 1 subscriber. And I cried and I was like, it's just one. And my friend said, I mean, it's just day one. So
day one. We can be so hard on ourselves.
Can't we?
It takes time.
It takes time. Let it go organically. And the gag is, guys, some people are paying for followers.
Like I get.
Baby, I don't got the budget. So you got to be organic.
You got to be organic. That's all we're doing.
Oh, my gosh. I love it so much. I love just all the little tidbits we got from The Root Cause. If you haven't read her first book, Vendetta by Angelica Roberts, go out and get Vendetta and then read The Root Cause.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Give me a blurb. They call it an elevator pitch.
An elevator pitch?
Give me an elevator pitch of The Root Cause and why we should go out there and read it.
All right. So, The Root Cause, again, talking about sexuality, addiction, crime, white-collar crime, just everything that we see in the world today, because I'm a commercial fiction writer, it encompasses this. It keeps you on a journey. It keeps you awake. It makes you not want to put it down. You're going to finish this in probably a day because you're going to get so invested in Regis and Devin and the mom and Maya and everybody that you're not going to want to put it down. And I think it's just going to be a roller coaster of emotions. You're going to laugh. You're going to cry. You're going to hate some of these characters. Shout out to Regis. And you're just going to really enjoy it. You're going to. One thing I love that some people have already said was, I don't really like reading like this, but I couldn't put it down. And that's what you can expect from this. Even if you don't read fiction, I get from people, I prefer nonfiction, but they read this and they're like, oh my God, I can picture everything in my head. It is just so vivid. The character development, they're well thought out, and you're going to relate to at least one or two of these characters. So, yeah.
I believe everything she said. Get The Root Cause, available at Amazon.com, Kindle, Barnes & Nobles. If Borders was still around, it would be at Borders. So make sure y'all go and get this book. Angelica, and lastly, like you said, she said people that don't normally read are going to read this book. When Omar was on the show, we talked about just a dwindling literacy and literacy rates and, you know, people not reading, this is the one. If you haven't done it in a while, this is the one that's going to help you do that. Thank you so much, Angelica, for coming on.
Can I say one more thing? Just one more thing.
Of course.
I appreciate it. I saw somebody post this. She was a therapist, and she said, you know, a lot of times in life we're running, right? Let me hurry up and get well. Let me go to therapy. Let me hurry up and do this. Let me read these self-help books, which are great. I like self-help books too. But sometimes we're always going, that when we read these self-help books or whatever about how to be a better person, you know, in turn, it kind of makes you feel like you're not doing enough, you know? And so sometimes if you're feeling bad, if you're not having a good day, the why is so you can escape. So you can enjoy something and get outside of yourself and maybe something to stimulate your own creativity. So if you're feeling, you know, a little down or whatever, instead of like leaning on those self-help books, look towards fiction. Fiction will get you out of your head. It'll help make your day better, you know. That's my why, is to get people out of their own heads and to just remind them like what the world has, you know. So definitely, in addition to the root cause and vendetta, fiction. Support fiction authors, please.
See, you got me going down a whole nother street again. What you're saying is just so true. Growing up, I was a reader. I've read hundreds, maybe even thousands of books. And I've never been a self-help girl. I got a lot of my self-help or dreams or goals or visions from fiction. Wow. I wanted to go into radio and marketing because of a book I read called Trying to Sleep in the Bed You Made. You know what I mean? Oh, my God. You got to read it. Virginia D. Berry. Okay. Amazing book. But I would get ideas for my life from a book, a fake fictional book. So that escapism is real because this world that we live in is harsh. It's harsh, and social media going to make you think that you ain't living your best life. And that is fake too, but that's fake without helping you. Fiction, this type of fiction can help you open up your imagination, open up parts of your mind that you didn't even know was there. Give you, when she uses her work to paint an idea or a place or description. I remember in Vendetta when they went out to the club in D.C. and I was like, oh, my God, I want to go out to the club. You know what I mean? It makes you want to go to those places that you may have never been anymore.
I used to tear that club up when I was out there. Shout out to that club.
Shout out to the clubs of the early 2000s, okay? So, again, thank you, Angelica. Please let my talkers out there know where they can find you on social media.
Yes. So on social, everything is Angelica R. Roberts on Amazon, on YouTube, and then on Instagram, it's at Read Write Roberts.
Read Write Roberts.
Yes.
That's on Instagram, and it will be down in the show notes. So, you know, her link to order the book will also be there. And you also have a website, right?
I do. It's AngelicaRRoberts.com.
AngelicaRRoberts.com. You can buy the book there. Give her a little bit of traffic, y'all. Yes. Or you can go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Borders if it was still around. So make sure y'all do that. And then True Tynee Talks Fashion, on my show, we give out shout outs. So who you going to give your shout outs to?
Oh my God. So everybody, one thing about it, Vendetta was more of a one-person show. I wrote it. I didn't have test readers. I had an editor and I had a publishing company I worked with. But this one, it has been a family just show. So in addition to Helen Ackles, who designed the front cover, my test readers, Cam Bentley, Anisha Hughes, Nova Roberts, Adrian Ackles. For my book launch events, Leanna Banks in Baltimore, she has her event planning business. Definitely look her up. And I pray I'm not missing my editor, Anita Bunkley. Check out Anita Bunkley's book.
Yes.
She's a Black author as well and has been around for a very long time. She's been my editor since Vendetta. She's amazing. And then everybody who's just prayed and supported, liked, bought a book, shared a book, anything, just supporting. Sure. I appreciate you.
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to my talkers out there. I can't wait for y'all to listen to this episode. We're at the end of the episode, but thank y'all for listening from the beginning to the end. Thank you, Angelica, for being a guest on the show. Thank you, Quentin, for birthing her.
My twin.
Yes, definitely your twin. And you ain't giving a shout out to DSC? I mean,
ooh. And FAMU.
And FAMU. So all the Delta Divas out there, make sure y'all support your sister, Angelica Roberts, and get the root cause. I mean, if all of y'all bought a book.
I mean, let's go. And HBCUs too. Let's add them on there too.
If all y'all bought a book, my girl would be up there on New York Times bestsellers list.
Let's make it happen. We can do it. Let's do it.
Look right there.
Right. I mean, we don't do things small.
We do it big.
We gonna do it big.
and we gonna do it big. Thank you guys. Again, this is the Tynee Talks podcast, the podcast where you come to laugh and learn, the podcast that educates and entertains. Hope you guys were entertained today. Don't forget to visit 810tacos.com and spice up your Taco Tuesday night. Remember, 810 Tacos is great on tacos, but delicious on everything. Use code Tynee Talks and you'll receive free shipping on orders of that are over $20. So shout out to y'all and peace. Yo, it's Tynee Talks.